So let's get into this. We have Matthew and Perry here, and they have taken us all. I've watched this documentary last week, the week before last, and they really take viewers on this inside high-stakes legal battle to hold tech companies accountable for the harm caused by their negligence and dangerous algorithms. This film follows social media victims' law center fighting for justice for families whose children suffered tragic consequences linked to social media use. As families seek justice, Can't Look Away underscores the urgent need for industry reform and serves both as a wake-up call about the dangers of social media and a call to take action to protect future generations. Welcome. Thank you for your work on this topic that is so hot right now. I think for parents, I have 3 kids. And I just want to hear all about your journey and what inspired you. So I don't know who wants to go first here, but how did this start?
First of all, Tammy, thank you so much for having us on this program. Your work is so important. And this topic, we feel, is really important. And the question of how this began, it goes back to about 2.5 years ago?
Almost 3 years ago.
Let's just say it goes back a long time. And we were in conversations with Bloomberg and looking at some different stories that they were working on that were possible stories that could become documentaries. And this one really starts with the amazing investigative reporting of their reporter, Olivia Carville. And Olivia has done some extraordinary work in this space. And Matt and I read all of her reporting and met with Olivia on several occasions and thought, this needs to be told. This needs to get out far and wide because parents, people who care for children, doctors, nurses, school teachers, everyone who touches the life of a child needs to be aware of what's happening in the big tech social media space.
Yeah. And I mean, I've talked to our viewers about this myself. My kids are 17, 11, and 8. And none of my kids have social media. And I'm the worst mom in the world sometimes. I just especially my 17-year-old. I think she's used to it now, but I was when she was 14, I was the worst mom. But there were things that scared me about who was online, I think, more than this. And this was a different take, especially when we talk about Snapchat, which we will, because that was terrifying, learning about that particular algorithm and the app there. The reason sometimes people are on there and how kids get victimized. But, the biggest thing for me that I took from this is just looking at how money is coming before kids' mental health. Like you mentioned right at the beginning of your documentary, in 2022, social media companies made an estimated $11 billion advertising to minors. To minors, that's just minors. Of course, they want to keep their eyeballs on these apps. That's a lot of product moving, right? And that's a lot of money in their pocket.
It's an enormous amount of money. And I think one of the things that you learn in the documentary, and also you hear from various whistleblowers from different companies, is that children are targeted as an audience, right? And that's true for Saturday morning television cartoons too, when we were kids. But those Saturday morning television cartoons were subject to the scrutiny of the FCC. And subject to a great deal of regulation. And the social media landscape remains the absolute Wild West. And I think as parents, I'm parent to a 13-year-old and an almost 10-year-old, if we have social media accounts, we see very different things than what these young people are seeing. And things that are far more benign. When Perry and I started this film, when we started looking closely at this, we had that vague sense that social media was bad. We thought that it could lead to internet addiction or distraction or cyberbullying. Those things were all had been in the zeitgeist. We didn't realize that these algorithms were, to use the title of the film, making it that these kids can't look away. We're shaping their brains in ways that they can't turn away from the screen. And are these engagement machines that tap into their emotions and not necessarily even their interests, and takes them on these journeys that they can't look away from.
Well, yeah, and you mentioned here in my notes here, I'm looking, and it says the algorithm is not based on what you search. It's based on what you spend time on. Like if you spend a couple seconds, watching a video that happens to pop up in your feed, Like, I just think of something really silly, like, I don't know, my husband sent me a recipe or something like a month ago to look at. And now, for the last several weeks, I get all these recipes sent to me. I don't cook. Like, that's the ironic thing. But I spent, 20 seconds looking at some, air fry thing he sent me. And that's all I'm getting now. And I'm not interested in that. I don't want to be in the kitchen cooking. He's a great cook. But I think that's part of the point, too, is, we can talk to kids about what, searching and that follows you, and then you'll get shown these things, but that's actually not how it's working most of the time. It's the videos that they start to ingest, it shows you more and more. And we know the brain pays attention to negative information 5 times higher than positive information. So I know you kind of start the documentary talking about like kiddos who they kind of go down a road where they're looking at self-strangulation videos. And the question is, like, they might not have even Googled that, but if it got shown to them because they're feeling depressed or they're, having suicidal thoughts, then another kiddo who, had posted something gets shown and then they spend time on it, then they're being fed that information.
It's such a good point, and thus the title of the film, Can't Look Away. Your child isn't seeing what they necessarily asked to see. They're being sent the material that they can't look away from. And of course, I don't have to tell you, you're a psychologist. You know that these platforms are hijacking the very parts of the brain that are still under construction for the young people in our world. Impulse control, identity, emotional regulation. That's what's happening.
You're right. It's hijacking a lot of their executive functioning. But I think social media, even for adults, is highly addictive that way. I mean, I could watch silly cat videos till the cows come home and I'll lose an hour. And my brain's fully developed.
I think we've all seen our peers at different times lose themselves in whether it's on X or TikTok or Instagram. Adults go down into a distraction point. And that's something, when we think about solutions and steps forward, that's really important. One of the parents who were featured in the film, Amy Neville, who tragically lost her son, Alexander, to a fake pill that was laced with fentanyl that he was sold by a drug dealer that encountered him on Snapchat. She makes the point that you have to have conversations about this with your children if you're going to understand it, and they're going to understand it. And she also makes the point that we as adults need to model good behavior when it comes to social media and our phones and our computers and our electronic devices, because young people see what their caring adults do, and that sets the tone for what they then do.
Absolutely. So otherwise it becomes do as I say, not as I do, right?
Right.
Tammy, these are really, really powerful algorithms, and they can learn your child really quickly. The algorithms are able to see what a child is pausing on, what a child is responding to, and that just continues to feed the algorithm.